Evelyn Ashford, I wonder if we could begin by talking about your early life. I recall reading that you were a military brat, I think.
My early life. Yeah, my father was in the Air Force. He's retired now. And we moved around a great deal. That's my early life.
Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana.
And I think what many people may find unusual is that with that kind of a background, that was sort of moving around, that you would have an opportunity to develop the kind of athletic prowess that you did develop, because I think most people think that comes out of being in a place and having a long series of coaching and development possibilities. Moving around as much as you did, how did you develop as an athlete?
My father went to Vietnam, and for about 2 or 3 years we lived with my grandmother in Alabama. And I guess that really started me my interest in running really got started then. Whenever I would run, people would notice me and they'd say, "Oh, you're very fast, why don't you take up running?" But I didn't really pay attention to it. It's fun, I liked it, and I'd do it for PE classes and things like that. I didn't really get started until I was 18, my last year in high school, to actually compete for a team, my high school team.
If you were to look back and tell somebody about Evelyn Ashford at 18, what kind of a youngster was she?
I don't know. Oh.
First of all, where were you at 18?
By then, my father was stationed in Sacramento, so I lived there for about a year. It was my last year in high school that we lived there. Let's see. What kind of youngster was I? I don't know. I don't think that if my running had worked, I would have gone to college. I don't think so. I don't think I was that ambitious toward anything else.
Who would you say was most instrumental in encouraging, at say age 18, to go to college, to work on your
Well,
running?
actually,
Okay, sure.
Ray, you have something going? And the football coach there used to watch me run in my PE classes. And he approached me one day and asked me did I want to run against his best running back in a little competition he was doing, because he wanted the guy to be more aggressive, and he thought that if he ran against a girl, his pride would come to fore, you know, and he'd do better. So I told him sure, why not, because it was just fun. So we went on the football field and we ran 50 yards and I won. And the word got around the school that I had beaten this big hot shot on the football team. And from then on, it was a regular thing every week for me to run against somebody on the football team. And I usually won, and they started making a contest. The winner would get a free lunch or something like that. So I got very popular that way by winning these little lunchtime competitions. And a friend of mine encouraged me to join the track team. But they didn't have a girls' track team at my school. In those days, they didn't until Title IX. And Title IX was passed, and that enabled me to join the boys' track team. The coach was excited to have me on the team. I don't know why. I guess he figured I was good and I would help the team. So that's what really got my running career started. That little competitions on the football team.
Okay. You're gonna have to stop for that.
Come on.
Okay. Aside from the fact that you were, winning these competitions and being attracted by the boys' coach in your high school, did running have at this time a particular personal appeal to you? I mean, was there?
I liked it. It was fun. It's something I could do very well. I think it also helped to be able to do something and people pay attention to you. And I got that stroking, so that reinforced my love for running.
Tell me about the first interest that colleges began to pay?
Well, actually, I only got recruited by one school, and that was UCLA.
Tell me in the comments, what is something that you do very well?
And that was it. I decided to go to UCLA because Wooden's reputation. No, that's not true. I didn't even know about that then. I just got recruited by UCLA, and I didn't really know if I wanted to go to college. I didn't really ever have a plan to go to college, even though my father's very strict and he wanted us to have a very good education. It was never in my mind to go to college and to do all that. But this was a good opportunity for me. It's a good school and all that. So I decided to go.
Who recruited you at UCLA?
Well, at the time, the coach's name was Chuck Debus. And
What did he say?
what did he say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I met him at a competition, and he came up to me and asked me, how would you like to go to UCLA? I said, UCLA, what's that? You know, what is that, a school or something? He said, yeah, it's a university. And I said, sure, I'd like to go. But then I had to talk to my father and do all that. So actually, the whole thing was done with my parents and the coach.
How did you feel when you arrived there? Was it obviously a big...
You know, it's a big difference. I would recommend to anybody going to college to go to a junior college first, especially if you're not ready for it like I wasn't. To go to a junior college first and prepare yourself. Because I felt really lost at first. It's a whole new first time away from home, and it's such a big institution, and you just kind of feel lost at first. Even though our athletic department helps you as much as they can, the transition has to be you. You know, you have to be able to handle that. And my running has never been a problem. Whatever the situation is, I can make a transition, you know. I can adjust to the situation. But it was harder for me to go from being a high school student into a college student.
Were there any other kids from your high school going to UCLA? Did you have...
Well, no, I didn't. I was the only one who went to UCLA. Yeah.
Now, the level of competition that you now encountered at UCLA, was there any major difference? Or
Well, now I'm running against women. Before I was running against, boys, young men. So that was different.
Was it a challenge for you?
I don't know. I guess it was. It's a higher level. Yeah, it was a different challenge.
Had you ever thought during this period about something like the Olympics or an international competition?
That first year at UCLA was the Olympic year. It was 1976, and ever since I was little, I thought I would be in the Olympics, but I didn't think I'd be in them that fast. And by then, the school had hired a new coach, and her name is Pat Connolly. And she didn't know that I was on a scholarship to go to a full ride at UCLA. She was new, and she had us all come out and do time trials. And we all had to run 100 meters. And I ran mine, and it was so fast, she thought she messed her watch up. And I had to run again, and I ran even faster. So she thought she'd messed the watch up. And she'd watched me all year after that. And she said, Evelyn, you know what? I think you can make the Olympic team. And I didn't believe her. I thought, oh, well, you know, this is fun. My father wants me to get my education and get that diploma and get a good job and do all that. And that's what I wanted to do. But I hadn't really thought about being in the Olympics at that time. I thought it'd be something I'd like to do later on, the more experience I got with running. And she told me I could make the team and that I would be in the finals of the Olympic Games that year. And I really didn't believe her. But as it turned out, I was. She had, I think, at that time, her faith in me helped me have faith in me. And it just happened.
We out?
Great.
Okay. You mentioned your coach, Pat Connolly, and her encouragement of you going to the Olympics in '76. Do you feel she had any real effect on your running style? I mean, with the things
My running style?
Did she teach you things about running, or was she more just a mentor?
She got me fit. She got me in shape. I was a very raw talent at that time. And she knew what things to do to make me stronger, to make me have more endurance, and what things to do to get you ready for a major competition. That's what she brought to my running. She never tried to change my style. She always felt my style was perfect, and that with these things, the strength, the endurance, and just getting used to running fast would be enough to make me a champion.
Did you have to do anything personally, I mean, emotionally or psychologically to get ready for the games in '76? Was it?
In '76, it was like a gift, because I really didn't believe that I could make the team. I finished third at the Olympic trials, and it was like a celebration that whole time, from the time I made the team until I left the Olympic Village after the final event. It was like a celebration for me. It was just fun. I loved it. It was a new experience. And what I always do with myself before anything I try new, I challenge myself in my mind. I'll say, Evelyn, can you do this thing? You know it's fun, you like it, but can you excel? Can you be as good as you think you can be? And that takes the pressure off me for some reason. I don't know why. But if I can ask myself that question, then I can just kind of relax and kind of flow through it and just see what I can do. 76 Olympics stands out more in my mind than 84. Maybe it's because it was my first Olympics, and the whole world was there. And I lived in the village, and I got to see different people eat different foods, and hear different black people speak different languages. I thought all black people spoke English, you know, and I was shocked to see that other people, they spoke other languages. So it was more growing for me. It was a growing experience for me. And my running was growing for me too at that time. I was more challenged by it.
What events did you qualify for?
I qualified for the 100 meters.
Only the 100 meters.
And the relay.
I wonder if you could share with our listeners, our viewers, what your progression to the finals in '76 was like. Were there any particularly outstanding moments on the way to the finals? Did anything special happen?
Like I said, a lot of stuff happened then. I can't describe it all. I just challenged myself. At that time, your own personal coaches were not allowed to go with you. You had to go with the team coach, and your coach would send your workouts, write it all out for you, and send it with you. So I was lucky in that the coach was Brooks Johnson. He also happened to be the coach here for '84. And he didn't try and change my style or anything. He thought I was fine too. So I was lucky in that. I got encouragement from him. I don't think he thought I'd make it to the final either. But I just felt challenged then. I wanted to see if I could compete with these other people, you know. I was the best on my high school level. I was the best on my college level. And I wanted to see what I could do against the rest of the world. And it was more like challenge and fun. In the beginning rounds, I had to run against, at that time, the fastest woman at that time, which was Stecker. She's from Russia. And I actually had a pretty good showing with her. I think I was second. And I won a few of my rounds. So I felt pretty good. It was fun. I can't describe how I felt then. It was just, I was a baby. And I think when you're new to something, you're not afraid of it as much.
When you knew you were going to...
Can we hold a second?
Sure.
The sun's starting to sneak onto her face.
The 100-meter finals, '76 at Montreal. You're facing, as you said before, you know, really top runners in the world, particularly Stecker in Russia. I think a lot of people would like to know what that feeling is like, just going up there to the
Mm-hmm.
line and saying, now is the time, this is it. What is it like?
It never changes either. Warming up, you're wondering, why are you there? You know, you could be doing something else. You wish you hadn't even thought about being an athlete. It's hard. Then you try and put it out of your mind and take care of what's happening at that time. When you actually get to the starting line, and everybody's standing there, and you look on the right side, there are women who have beaten you, and you look on the left side, there are women who have beaten you. And you're really scared. It's a scary feeling. It's like, it's do or die. You either do it now or you don't. It's hard. But it's exciting too. It's a thrill. And I think that's why I still do it, because I still get that excitement out of it. I think I've always been a competitor, and I always kind of rise to the occasion. And I love the challenge. I love to run against people and see if I can beat them. And that's kind of how I felt then, because I was so new, and I wanted to see just how good I could be against these other women who were so good. So it's just a curiosity for me at that time. I was nervous, but I was excited at the same time. I was thrilled to look up in the stands and see that half-finished dome and see all the people, you know, and hear all the noise and have the impression of just bright lights and the starter being on the left side, and just the anticipation of what's going to happen at the end of the race.
We will show the race, obviously, as part of our program. Can you kind of put it together for us as it happened for you?
At that, you know what, by the time I got to the final, I was thinking, I think I can get a medal, because I had made a pretty good showing up until then. I thought I can compete with these women. I think I got cocky then. So I felt that I could really make a good showing, but there was a false start, and that kind of, being so young, that broke my concentration, because I felt I could just get in there and just be with them. As it turns out, I was the first American finisher. I was 5th in that race. I was so raw, so new, that I can look at that race and see 100 things I did wrong. But it was a beginning. It was, you know, me saying, hey, I can run with the rest of the world. I made it to the final. I was 5th. I'm like the 5th sprinter in the world. That's great for my first try.
If you could, in your imagination, go back there and say, I'm going to coach that Evelyn Ashford, tell her what she did wrong specifically in that race, what would you say to her?
What would I say to her? At that time, I didn't have the strength or endurance, and in sprinting, you have to have that near the end of the race. I would have coached her differently. She would have the strength and endurance, because she had all the confidence. She wasn't psyched out. She was very well motivated. She would have more strength over the last part of the race.
After Montreal, of course, you must have thought at some point, well, I'm going to look now toward the next Olympics. I'm going to look 4 years hence.
You know, that didn't happen until I just kind of went on my merry way, dealing with going to school. And I don't think I really improved again until 1978. I didn't really have any more desire to run really good. It was just fun. And I just think I became just a good American sprinter, and I was content with that for a while. The first World Cup was in Dusseldorf, Germany. And I was the first American finisher, so I got to go and compete in the 100 and the 200. And there was only one race. And I felt that I was good enough to compete with the rest of the world. But I didn't have that burning desire.
The cancellation of the 80 Olympics, and what was your reaction?
When did I hear about it? Well, the first murmurings we heard were in the fall, I think. And we thought, oh, that's not going to happen. It's impossible. So I kept up my training schedule. And I think the final word came in the fall still. I don't remember. It's like you've gone to college for 4 years. It's time to go to graduation ceremony. And they say, well, sorry, it's not going to be held today, and you have to start all over again. You have to put those 4 years in again. It's a big disappointment. By then, I was very dedicated to my running, and I was dedicated to trying to be the best female sprinter in the world by then. So it was a big blow to me.
Were you still at this time working with PACCOM?
Mm-hmm.
What now? Obviously, you'd moved up in your if there were rankings throughout the world. Evelyn Ashford, of course, was moving up. What kind of things were you doing you talked about increasing your stamina, your strength. What kind of things did you do to accomplish that?
You don't want to hear a whole training schedule, do you?
Well, the part of it
Well,
that you think might be interesting.
Well, each year I got stronger. Just from running, you get stronger. I started lifting more weights, more intense middle distance running, like 800s and miles for time, and those kind of endurance runs. We started experimenting with my sprinting, the acceleration, and with different starting techniques and things like that. So my training kind of evolved into a higher level as the years went by. And I think what else changed that helped me improve was my mental attitude. I was no longer just a curiosity, can I do this? It was a fact, yes you can, but how much further can you go? And it's something I really wanted to do. I always wanted to have my name in a book somewhere, be in the history book somewhere. And I felt that this was a way for me to do it, and I really enjoyed it.
With a sprinter, I would imagine, and of course I'm guessing you will know this much better than I, but I would guess you have two opponents, the time and the people you're running against.
For me at that time, at first it's the people. When you start off, it's people. And then you get to another level, and maybe Edwin will tell you this when you interview him too. And then, for me, it's just seeing you've mastered beating people, and you know that whenever you step on the track, you're gonna win. So for me, it was mastering the time, and I didn't get to that level till 1981. So then I wanted to start mastering the time.
In 1981, of course now, obviously you have to start pointing toward the 84 Olympics, which you say were not as exciting for you as the 76 Olympics. How were you approaching them? To 81, 82. What were you looking for?
Well, in 81, it was a coming back for me because I was so disappointed with not going to the Olympics in 80. So I had to get the feelings back again. I was drained emotionally. And I didn't really know if I wanted to continue running at that time. I think a lot of the people who were in the games in 84 are people who would have been in 80 and just picked themselves up and said, well, I'll try one more time. In 81, it was starting over again, getting that love for it again, and that desire to train again. After training so hard and then nothing happening, you wonder if that's what you really want to do. So in 81, it was getting that, yeah, I think I want to do it. It's like gearing up, And then by 82, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And then by 83, I was ready,
Now in 84, of course, you'd be entered in 3.
Okay. I would have been. I got injured at the Olympic trials, so I didn't qualify in the 200 meters. So it was like
1984, you're qualifying in two events, the 100 meters and the 100 meter relay. You said earlier that this didn't have the spark of excitement for you at the 76 games. What was the major difference between 76 and 84?
I think in 76 it was brand new, and I was a baby to it. And I feel it was more of a challenge for me because I didn't know where I was and how I would compete. Because of the Soviet boycott, I was assured a gold medal. I hate to say that, but it's true. I didn't feel as challenged. And for me, I'm a competitor. I like to feel challenged. That's when I'm at my best. I love it. So I didn't feel as challenged with this games. The glitter and glamour was still there. But for me, for it to be memorable for me, and I can look back with good memories, I had to feel challenged in some way. And I didn't really feel challenged this time.
In the 84 games, could you have, or did you ever feel that you could challenge the time? That you could really sort of run against the possibility of almost perhaps forgetting that there wouldn't be people in there who could compete with you, but there would be that the timeless element of time, actually.
Yeah. Well, at first I did, at the beginning of the year, because there was no talk of a boycott. I knew that if the Soviets were here, we would run some very good times on that track. I got injured during the Olympic trials, so I didn't really think about time after that. I just thought about getting out there and just winning. I did break the Olympic record. I don't really think the Coliseum's made for running good times, so it was never really in my mind. No.
Would you try again?
In 88? I think so. I think that I'll try in the 200. I think I'll try something new.
Let's go back again and talk about what you will do in 88.
Well, I don't really know. After this year, I had a letdown. You know, after you are so high and you've accomplished the goal, for me, it was a big low. I was down for a few months afterwards. I feel like I had no more goals for me to accomplish. And it might have been because it was such a high energy period. I was just normal again, and that felt like a low to me. So I'm just now formulating in my mind what I'd like to do as far as my running career goes through 88. I know that I want to be in the games in 88. I know that I want to run the 200 meters. I think maybe I can improve my time in the 100, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
As you know, I told you in the beginning that our film is about champions and championships. It's my feeling that the champions do have not only a different approach, obviously, because they achieve things that athletes, generally speaking, don't. But is there an attitude, do you think, the champions bring to their work that perhaps sets them apart from other people?
I can only speak for myself. I always feel that I can do anything, and I keep that attitude until I'm proven wrong. Okay, especially with my running, I feel I can achieve. If I can think of it and dream about it, then it's achievable. And until I'm proven wrong, I always believe that I can do these things. Also, I like competition. I like the I hate to keep saying challenge, but it is a challenge for me to see if I'm as good as the next person or better.
Several people we've spoken to who were at the 84 games who had things to do with the games expressed some disappointment about the way black athletes in the aftermath of the games were treated by the public. How did you feel about that?
This is America, and this 100 years, 200 years later, nothing really changes. I don't think it was only just black athletes. I think there were a lot of heroes during the games, and we all can't get stroked. I think there were a lot of heroes, and America likes one or two at a time.
So you didn't feel personally disappointed?
Personally? No, I don't think it's a personal thing, no.
If I asked you to complete this sentence that would begin with the words "to be a champion," and remembering that we'll be addressing a lot of people and a lot of young people, how would you complete that sentence that began "to be a champion"?
To be a champion, it has to be more than a few words.
Okay.
You have to be curious.
Could you start again and say "to be"?
Okay, to be a champion, you have to be curious. You have to have a curiosity. To be a champion, you have to be willing to work very hard.
Okay.
Speed.
Could we go right back to where we were? Please?
Okay, to be a champion, you have to be curious. You have to have a curiosity. To be a champion, you have to be willing to work very hard. And I think that's basically it. Just be curious and be willing to work for it.
Cut. Okay. We good with that?
This video raises questions, and I need for you to be extremely honest in the comments when answering them. And just so you know, I only have 2 questions. Number 1, who do you want me to do a video on next? And number 2, what are your thoughts about this video? Please share them in the comments. Please be honest when answering these questions. Share this video with anyone you deem necessary, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.